The Battle of the Lys, also known as the Lys Offensive, the Fourth Battle of Ypres, the Fourth Battle of Flanders, Operation Georgette, Portuguese, Bataille de la Lys and French, 3e Bataille des Flandres, was part of the 1918 German offensive in Flanders during World War I, also known as the Spring Offensive. It was originally planned by General Ludendorff as Operation George, but was reduced to Operation Georgette, with the objective of capturing Ypres, forcing the British forces back to the Channel ports and out of the war. In planning, execution and effects, Georgette was similar to Operation Michael, earlier in the Spring Offensive. Background: strategic developments. The German attack zone was in Flanders, from about 10 km east of Ypres in Belgium to 10 km east of Bethune in France, about 40 km south. The front line ran from NNE to SSW. The Lys River, running from southwest to northeast, crossed the front near Armentières in the middle of this zone. The front was held by the Belgian Army in the far north, by the British Second Army in the north and centre, and by the British First Army in the south. Prelude. Tactical developments. The German attacking forces were the 6th Army in the south, and the 4th Army in the north. Both armies included substantial numbers of the new Starstruppen, trained to lead attacks in the new stormtroop tactics. The British First Army was a relatively weak force. It included several worn-out formations that had been posted to a quiet sector. This included 2 divisions of the Portuguese Expeditionary Corps, which were undermanned, lacked almost half of their officers, had very low morale, and were set to be replaced the day of the German attack. German plan of attack. The German plan was to smash through First Army, push Second Army aside to the north, and drive west to the English Channel, cutting off British forces in France from their supply line, which ran through the Channel ports of Calais, Dunkirk and Boulogne. Battle of Estaires. The German bombardment opened on the evening of the 7th of April, against the southern part of the Allied line between Armentières and Festubert. The barrage continued until dawn on the 9th of April. The 6th Army then attacked with 8 divisions. The German assault struck the Portuguese 2nd Division, which held a front of about 11 kilometers. The Portuguese division was overrun and withdrew towards Estaires. The British 55th Division, to the south of the Portuguese in a more defensible position, pulled back its northern brigade and held its ground for the rest of the battle, despite attacks from 2 German reserve divisions. The British 40th Division collapsed under the German attack and fell back to the north. Horn committed his reserves to stem the German breakthrough, but they too were defeated. The Germans broke through 15 kilometers of front and advanced up to 8 kilometers, the most advanced probe reaching Estaires on the Lys. There they were finally halted by British reserve divisions. On the 10th of April, 6th Army tried to push west from Estaires but was contained for a day, pushing north against the flank of 2nd Army. It took Armentières. Battle of Messines. Also on the 10th of April, German 4th Army attacked north of Armentières with 4 divisions, hitting the British 19th Division. 2nd Army had sent its reserves south to aid 1st Army, and the Germans broke through, advancing up to 3 kilometers on a 6 kilometers front, and capturing Messines. The 25th Division to the south, flanked on both sides, withdrew about 4 kilometers. By the 11th of April, the British situation was desperate. It was on this day that Haig issued his famous "backs to the wall" order. Battle of Hazebrouck. On the 12th of April, 6th Army renewed its attack in the south, towards the important supply centre of Hazebrouck, another 10 kilometers to the west. The Germans advanced some 2 to 4 kilometers and captured Merville, Nord. On the 13th of April they were stopped by the 1st Australian Division, which had been transferred to the area. The British 4th Division defended Hinges Ridge, the 5th Division held Neep Forest, and the 33rd Division was also involved. Battle of Bailleul. From 13 to 15 April, the Germans drove forward in the centre, taking Bailleul, 12 kilometers west of Armentières. Despite increasing British resistance, Plumer assessed the heavy losses of Second Army and the defeat of his southern flank and ordered his northern flank to withdraw from Passchendaele to Ypres and the Yser Canal. The Belgian army to the north conformed. First Battle of Camel. The Kemelberg is a height commanding the area between Armentières and Ypres. On 17 to 19 April, 4th Army attacked there but was repulsed by the British. Battle of Bethune. On the 18th of April, 6th Army attacked south from the breakthrough area toward Bethune but was repulsed. Second Battle of Camel. French Marshal Foch had recently assumed supreme command of the Allied forces and on the 14th of April agreed to send French reserves to the Lys sector. A French division relieved the British defenders of the Kemelberg. From 25–26 April, 4th Army made a sudden attack on the Kemelberg with 3 divisions and captured it. This success gained some ground, but it made no progress toward a new break in the Allied line. Battle of the Scherpenberg. On the 29th of April, a final German attack captured the Scherpenberg, a hill to the northwest of the Kemelberg. Aftermath. Analysis. More French reinforcements arrived in the latter part of April. The Germans had suffered heavy casualties, especially among the Starstrappen, and attacks toward Hazebrouck failed. It was clear that Georgette could not achieve its objectives. On the 29th of April, the German High Command called off the offensive. Casualties in 1937. C. B. Davies, E. Edmonds and R. G. B. Maxwell Hislop. The British official historians gave casualties from 9 to 30 April as a c. 82,000 British and a similar number of German casualties. Total casualties since the 21st of March were British c. 240,000, French 92,004 and German 348,300. In 1978, Middlebrook wrote of 160,000 British casualties, 22,000 killed, 75,000 prisoners and 63,000 wounded. Middlebrook estimated French casualties as 80,000 and German as a c. 250,000 with 50–60,000 lightly wounded. In 2002, Marix Evans recorded 109,300 German casualties and the loss of 8 aircraft, British losses of 76,300 men, 106 guns and 60 aircraft, and French losses of 35,000 men and 12 guns. In 2006, Zabecki gave 86,000 German, 82,040 British and 30,000 French casualties.